Alright, next up on the knives that Kizer had sent in for review is the Kizer and Nick, oh geez, of course, Nick Swan, thank you, it's on the blade, whew, I'm like, I know who this is, Matanzas, I believe is how you say that. This is a very cool design off as one of his customs. It comes in two different blade shapes. They sent me the recurve Tanto, which I really would have liked the drop point, but it doesn't take away from the design at all of the knife and how it functions, and that's not going to affect the review at all. So it does come in two different blade shapes. So that is something to keep in mind. So very cool knife, guys. Has a nice carbon fiber inlay, I guess you'd say, on the titanium scales. Your typical Kizer blue pivot collar. One thing I do like a lot is they've gone away from the double-sided pivots. I mean, the free spinning pivots, you have the same on both sides. It's kind of been an issue with Kizers. And on their newer models, minus the zip slip, which it doesn't matter much on that knife, they don't have it's a captured bearing or pivot. So you can see there and there, not double-sided with the Torx, so it's not going to move on you, which is great. You have a stainless steel lock bar insert, S35DN blade. You have the blue pivot collar on the other side as well. Nice clip on this one. I really like the clip design on this one. It sits up plenty high. It uses kind of these barrel spacers here for the pocket clip, and so it goes on off the pocket, and it's pretty deep carry. Let's go ahead and demonstrate that. So a little bit of the knife is sticking up out of the pocket, not much, enough to grab onto it. This is actually kind of my preferred. It's not so deep you're trying to fish it out, but it's deep enough that it's not going to be very obvious that you're carrying a knife. So this is a 3.4-inch blade, bead blasted finish. Just go over some basic specs real quick, get these out of the way. Overall length is 8 inches with a blade length of 3.4, like I mentioned. Blade thickness 0.14 inches. You have a obviously S35. I say obviously because that's what Kizer does on all their higher end knives. Handle length is 4.5. Your handle thickness is just under half an inch, 0.47. Carbon fiber and titanium with a 3.85 inch handle. Let's see how much it weighs on my scale. They're claiming 3.85, so pretty lightweight. Yeah, 3.8 is what I get. Apparently doesn't go up to 0.85, so 3.8 ounces, very good weight. Under 4 is always great for an EDC knife. It's a good size too, with a handle length of 4.5 inches and a overall length of 8. It's not too big, right on the cusp of where I like to be. These come in at about $198, so just under $200 for these. And like I said, there is a drop point, and then there is the recurve Tanto option on both of these knives. So when this first came out, I was actually pretty stoked. I really liked this design. I wanted to get one, and I went down to Blade HQ one day and was looking at it, and ended up going home with the Riot Mini Horizon D. Funny enough, I just sold that knife, and here I am with one of these in my hand. It's kind of funny how that works out. I actually really like this. Now that I've had the chance to carry it and use it for the last week or so, I've been carrying this combo right here mostly for the last week, and it's been a great combo because you have a smaller, more sheeple-friendly knife, and that'll do your task that you need to. And then if you need a locking folder or a longer blade for whatever reason, you have it. It's very common for guys to carry two knives, smaller and a larger. Kind of your main use, and then your backup blade is a very common thing. So I really like this one quite a bit. Like I said, been on my radar, under $200. It's a good deal. They did a really good job on the carbon fiber. One thing I also really, it does have the stainless steel lock bar insert as well. One thing I really like is this, is how the knife gives you this little curve right here. It really works, and then they've chamfered in the inside of these edges. So when you go to unlock the knife, you can really grab that area, and you can. It's a very smooth knife. It's not as smooth. I don't know why. It's definitely smooth, but it's not like a drop shut smooth. It's kind of a different smoothness. It's almost like it's on bearings, but almost like it's on washers. Better make sure I'm right before I jump to conclusions, right? I have to tear it apart and check it out, but I'm 99.99% sure it's on bearings. Yep, it is on bearings. I can see them right there. So it almost has a washer feel to it more than a bearing, but it does. But one thing I love because it's a pretty neutral handle design, which I like. I think that's best for ergonomics. But it does give you a nice place for that index finger, your pointer finger, excuse me, to sit and to rest, right? And then it makes it really easy to disengage the lock. So I really like that part of the design quite a bit. The handle itself is very ergonomic. It feels great in the hand. Here it is in my medium-sized hand. See, I have a little bit of handle left. There is no jimping up here. It would have been nice to have some jimping on this model, especially right here. But it still works just fine, you know, because this really locks that finger in. So anytime you're doing any kind of cutting task, it's going to work well. Now, I'm not a huge fan of recurves, mostly because of the sharpening of them is going to be a pain. But this recurve Tanto is kind of cool, and this Tanto tip actually reminds me a lot of the Grimsmo Norseman. It kind of has a similar size, similar shape to it. And this part of the knife, which is very sharp, by the way, both parts came very sharp, which sometimes they don't sharpen the Tanto as well, is actually one of the more useful points of the knife to use for most tasks. That's where it's got a nice tip, and I find I use this front edge a lot to do quite a bit. And then you got this recurve for very good slicing ability. So, you know, the handle, the blade shape is it's different looking, and it's definitely going to be a pain to sharpen, but it works really well. Recurves have always been known to be good cutters, so they're just not everyone's favorite because of the sharpening method of them. Or, not method, but challenges they present in sharpening. Thinness behind the edge, 0.0245, so pretty thin behind the edge, not bad at all. Not the craziest, but that recurve is going to help it slice pretty good. Very smooth action, like I said. I haven't taken this one down. I could probably get it a little smoother even, and I probably will. Blade centering came perfect on this. Fit and finish is typical what I expect out of Kizer. I think they've definitely just continued to improve over the years. They've always been good, but each new knife I get from Kizer I'm always impressed with. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the bead blast on the blade. I would have liked to seen satin or a stonewash finish on that. I do love the finish on the handle scales, though. It's really nice. And it really helps accentuate that carbon fiber inlay. And like I said, they did a good job with that carbon fiber inlay. Very good. As far as I know, Kizer hasn't done much with carbon fiber on most of their knives. There's a few I can think of. So it was nice to see them do that. They usually kind of just go with your standard, kind of like this Alter Ego, your standard, you know, gray finish, titanium, you know, with maybe like this has a few milling marks in it, something like that. That's kind of their signature knife, and they get a little boring after a while, I think. I love seeing this. I would love to see them do more with inlays. Micarta would be great, G10. You know, I like seeing this kind of stuff on knives. This is one of my favorite things about this knife is how, and I've always been a big fan of slim handles, is how most of the blade, almost all of it, is actually enclosed in the knife when it's shut. So it's very slim in the pocket, so it's not going to be a wide knife to carry. It's going to be very slim, and let's just get that measurement here. Yeah, it's less than an inch, 0.96. Even at the tip of that, like, or that peak here of the blade where it goes, you know, cuts down into like a Bowie style, trailing point style, then it goes to the Tanto. That thickest part's not even an inch thick on the handle, so very slim in the pocket. So you got a lot of good things going for you. You got a nice pocket clip, you got a nice slim handle, you've got a good action, you've got great ergonomics, a very handsome design, and it's under 200 bucks. I think that's a pretty good deal, and another great offering from Kizer. So wish I would have bought this one earlier, actually, when I bought it, when I was looking at knives, but now I have one in my hands, which is great, and it's been a really good EDC knife. So alright guys, that's going to wrap up this review of the Kizer Swan Matanzas. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not the best at pronouncing things, as you guys all know. So, been a great knife, guys. I really highly recommend it, and I want to thank Kizer again for sending this in for review. See you on the next one.